A board director. Is this appointment on your radar? Hopefully by the end of this video, you will have an answer, yes or no. So a board director, is this appointment on your radar? When most professionals think about career progression, they naturally focus on a traditional path, a promotion, a larger team, greater responsibility, a bigger office, a more impressive title, Chief Executive Officer, Vice President, Managing Director, Chief Financial Officer. That's understandable, but these are often viewed as the pinnacle of success. But there is another career path that many highly accomplished professionals never seriously consider, despite being exceptionally well qualified for this appointment. Becoming a board director. The question I have for you today is quite simple. Is this appointment on your radar in your career plan? For some of you watching, it's absolutely should be. Many executives spend decades accumulating knowledge, building those relationships, solving complex problems, leading people through uncertainty, and making those difficult decisions. They develop sound judgment. They earn trust. They establish credibility and a reputation that others respect. Yet they never stop to think that the very qualities which made them successful executives may also make them valuable contributors in the boardroom. Perhaps that describes you. A board appointment is not simply another line on LinkedIn or an impressive addition to your resume. Yes, it does help your resume, your CV. It's much more than that. It is a position of trust and accountability. Board members help shape that organizational direction. They challenge assumptions. They monitor risk. They ensure appropriate governance practices are followed. They protect stakeholders and help organizations remain focused on their mission and their long-term objectives. Importantly, they do not manage the organization on a day-to-day basis. That is where many executives initially struggle. Throughout our careers, we've become accustomed to taking action, fixing problems, implementing solutions. We dive into the detail. We make operational decisions. But board service requires a different mindset altogether. You don't drive the car, you help determine whether the driver is heading in the right direction. You ask thoughtful questions. You challenge constructivity. You support wisely. You provide oversight rather than operational control. The distinction may appear subtle, but it is critically important. One of the biggest misconceptions surrounding board appointments is that they are reserved for retired C-suite officers, sitting comfortably around polished mahogany chairs and tables in large corporations. The reality is very different. Boards today are increasingly seeking diversity of thought, experience, expertise, and perspective. They recognize that the challenges facing organizations are becoming a lot more complex and require broader capabilities than ever before. Let me stop it here. If anybody's got any questions on today's topic or questions on anything to do with career management, put them in the comments and I will answer them at the end. So put them in the comments and I will definitely answer them in the end. So if your background includes audit, finance, risk management, cybersecurity, legal affairs, human resources, digital transformation, artificial intelligence, healthcare, sustainability, governance, or regulatory compliance, your expertise may be particularly valuable. Organizations are actively searching today for directors who can provide insight into these increasingly important areas. In fact, boardrooms across the world are placing greater emphasis on emerging risks and specialist knowledge as they navigate through uncertain business environments. Each day that environment changes. You may already possess precisely what many boards are looking for. They need you right now. The problem is that most professionals never prepare themselves for this possibility. One day they decide that they would be quite like a board appointment. Then they encounter the inevitable question: do you have board experience? No. It is one of the life's most frustrating ironies. You need to experience to gain experience. Human beings have created many interesting systems over the years, and this one ranks remarkably high on the list. So, how do you overcome that obstacle? One of the smartest strategies is to begin with the non-profit sector. Get your feet wet. Volunteer. Serve. Learn. Observe. And contribute. That is the way you're going to get the foot in the door. There are countless charities, foundations, educational institutions, healthcare organizations, community groups, and professional associations that would welcome talented individuals like you listening today and willing to contribute their expertise and share their expertise. Nonprofit boards provide exceptional learning opportunities. You begin to understand governance in practice rather than theory. You learn about fiduciary responsibilities. You gain experience serving on committees. You become familiar with the board papers, the meeting protocols, and the strategic discussions that go on around the board table. You witness firsthand the distinction between governance and management. You develop confidence and credibility as a director. Perhaps most importantly, you discover where the board service genuinely appeals to you. I often encourage people to choose a cause that resonates deeply with them. Select something that's close to your heart, perhaps education, mental health, healthcare, animal welfare, environmental sustainability, youth development, veterans support, community initiatives, or the arts. The list just goes on and on. When you genuinely care about the mission, your contribution becomes far more meaningful. You are not simply attending meetings because they appear in your diary. You become invested in helping the organization succeed. Your passion shows, and people notice authenticity. However, there is another consideration that many people fail to think through carefully. Not every board appointment necessarily belongs front and center on your LinkedIn profile or your resume, your CV, particularly if the organization has a strong political or religious affiliation. That is not a judgment on those organizations. Many undertake remarkable and very important work within those sectors. But career management requires an awareness of overall perception. Fairly or unfairly, people form opinions. Recruiters form opinions. Hiring manager form opinions. Potential clients form opinions. You might not find highly visible affiliations unintentionally distract from the professional narrative you wish to communicate. So in some situations, discretion becomes the wider strategy. You can support causes you deeply to believe in necessarily making a cornerstone of your personal brand. So effective career management is not only about deciding what information is to communicate, it's also about understanding what information may be better left in the background. Another myth worth addressing relates to age. Many people assume they are either too young or too old to pursue board opportunities. Neither is necessarily true. Mid-career professionals are joining boards. Entrepreneurs are joining boards. Subject matter experts, SMEs, are joining boards. Senior executives continue to secure board appointments. Boards increasingly value fresh perspectives combined with practical expertise. What matters most is the contribution you will bring. Can you ask insightful questions? Can you exercise sound judgment? Can you identify risks others may overlook? Can you think strategically? Can you maintain confidentiality? Can you collaborate with people who hold different opinions? Can you act in the best of the organization rather than your own? If the answer is yes, you may have far more potential than you realize. If becoming a board director interests you, you should start preparing today. So you should attend governance seminars. There's many online. Consider a governance certification program. I can recommend a couple of really good ones. Research extensively about their fiduciary duties and director responsibilities. They can be onerous. Yes, I'm not going to deny it. Speak with experienced board members. Volunteer for those committees. Expand your network deliberately. Let trusted contacts know that board service is an aspiration. Board appointments frequently arise through relationships and reputation rather than applications submitted online. Someone recommends you, someone remembers you, someone trusts your judgment. Someone says, you should speak with this individual. They would add tremendous value. Another reminder that networking remains one of the most powerful, I can't say it too much, powerful career management tools available. It's not about collecting hundreds of business cards or thousands of LinkedIn connections. It's about building genuine and meaningful relationships over time and consistently demonstrating credibility and integrity. Board service can also be enormously rewarding to you from a personal perspective. You mentor emerging leaders. You help organizations fulfill important missions and mandates. You influence decisions that affect employees, customers, communities, and stakeholders. And you also continue learning. You remain intellectually stimulated. You're giving back. You leave a legacy. For many professionals, board service becomes one of the most fulfilling chapters of their careers, not because of the prestige, not because of the compensation, but because they recognize that their knowledge, their experience, their judgment can genuinely improve the lives of others. Perhaps the greatest legacy any of us can leave is using what we have learned to help others succeed. So let me ask you a question once again. Is becoming a board director on your radar? If it isn't, perhaps it should be. You've spent years building expertise, developing resilience, earning that credibility, leading people through uncertainty, making difficult decisions. The experiences have tremendous value beyond your current position. Maybe, just maybe, your next chapter is not just simply another promotion. Maybe it is another rung up the corporate ladder. Maybe it is a seat at the board table where you're going to be challenged, you're going to be accountable, and you can steer the direction with your expertise of the company you are engaged by. Board appointments are rarely accidental. They are more through networking, more cultivated, built through performance, and strengthened through relationships, supported by credibility and earned through contribution. Perhaps the question I'm going to ask, whether you are qualified. Perhaps the real question is whether you have ever stopped long enough to recognize that you are. I'm Martin Buckland, a global executive career management practitioner. Your career is your business. You need to manage it like a business. Take control now. So for much more information on general career management, please visit my YouTube channel, Martin Buckland, my name, and press the subscribe button and the bell button where you will be notified of many forthcoming videos. Now, I see that maybe a couple of comments have come in. That's a good one. Ruth Ann Boyd. Yes, Ruth Ann Boyd. Yeah, great. So that's a good question. Yes. So a board position, oh my gosh, I've lost it. Yeah, a board resume is a totally different resume in both content and format. So a board resume concentrates on audit, any type of audit. It can be a fiscal audit, it can be an operational audit, it can be a company audit, it can be a variety of audits. It also focuses on risk management, and it focuses on governance, any type of governance. So hopefully that has answered your question. Anybody got any other comments? Where are the best places to find these volunteer board? Okay. So in the Greater Toronto area, there is, I can't remember. Send me an email and I will go and look up. There is a database of all not-for-profit board appointments. Also, Charity Village. Charity Village also has some as well. So go on to Charity Village. But there is another one and I can't remember what it is. So anybody got any other questions on board appointments at the latter end of your career, if you're a senior executive, it's very worthwhile. It can be fiscally good for you. And normally a board only meets 2 or 3 days a month. And then if you retire and you have 3 or 4 board appointments, and you've got your salary or pension from your corporate job, that's pretty good money earning. And yeah, it is a good option, and you can share. It makes you feel really good. Many of my clients that become board directors have said it makes them feel really good that they have supported not just a non-profit, but when they get to the corporate level on the board director. So hopefully, Ruth Ann, that has answered your questions. It's a totally different document, the resume, totally different format and content. So I'll wrap it up. I'll be back next week with another Tuesdays at 2. Hopefully you're going to have a great week, but start managing your career, because the world is shaky right now. The economy is shaking, and you never know whether your job is going to be say goodbye or whatever, and you might not be in a position to instantly hook up and get on the road, the job search. So because it takes a little bit of time to get things ready. So all the best. I'm more than happy to give a free, no obligation resume critique, and the address is below. Send it to me, and then doesn't matter where you live, anywhere in the world, I will then contact you, and we can set up a Zoom for a 30-minute, no obligation resume critique. Maria, do you feel the certification is necessary for a paid board position? I do. I feel that, yeah, it's like anything, even in the corporate life, the more certifications or designations, or don't become a degree master and go and just collect all these things, but be very prudent. And there are some really good ones. But yeah, you do have to have, it would be best to have a certification. There is one, and I can't remember. There again, I must be brain dead today. There is another one that's global, rather than the 2 grandfathered one, who are rather old in their teaching. So send me a message, Maria, on LinkedIn, and I will send you a URL of a very well-known and rising, founded here in Canada, but it's now global certification. And it's very highly regarded by executive recruiters across the world. So anybody got any other questions before I wrap it up? There's some great questions. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Ruth Ann, for your contributions. And if you would like me to speak on any particular topic that is bugging you about career management, it's a huge role, it's a huge gamut, from resume, CV writing, through networking, through executive recruiters, through job search and personal branding, etc. I'm more than happy to shoot a video if anybody's got anything they would like me to shoot. So thanks for your watching today, and those who are on the replay on YouTube, and I will be back next week.